你要不要吃一点？不用，谢谢，我那个来。那个来？什么来了？Hello， 大家好 ，I'm Grace. Today we're going to talk about euphemisms 委婉语 in Chinese. In daily life, there are some words that people tend to say rather indirectly because they refer to something rather unpleasant or are related to some taboo topics 禁忌的话题 such as death 死亡 or sex 性 etc. So today we're going to take a look at 5 common Chinese euphemisms so you can talk about these topics in an indirect and polite way. 那我们开始吧。The first one is 那个 or you can also pronounce it as 那个 那个 means that or that one, but sometimes it's used to refer to something that people don't want to say directly. For example, at the beginning of this video, 你要不要吃一点？不用，谢谢，我那个来。The person said 不用，谢谢，我那个来。What does 我那个来 mean? It's literally translated as I, that, come. In this context, 那个 that actually refers to a woman's period. So 我那个来 means I'm on my period. The formal name of a woman's period is 月经 or 生理期 But in everyday life, people often just use 那个 or 大姨妈to refer to it. Personally, I hear 那个来 more often than 大姨妈来. Let's see some examples. 我女朋友那个来，身体不舒服。我女朋友那个来，身体不舒服。我女朋友那个来，身体不舒服。My girlfriend is on her period and doesn't feel well. 我明天要比赛，结果今天大姨妈来，好烦哦。大姨妈来不是很好吗？可以去看你比赛啊。In a different context, 那个 can express another meaning. For instance, people also use 那个 to refer to, well, 那个。问你哦，你跟你男朋友那个了没？还没啦，我们才刚在一起。那个 What are they talking about? Other euphemisms that people use to talk about having sex are 发生关系 to have a relationship. In Taiwan, we usually pronounce it as 发生关系 Another one is 上床 to go to bed. In Taiwan, people also use 炒饭 fried rice to indicate that. 你最拿手的料理是什么啊？我很会炒饭。Okay, the second one is 有了 有 means to have, and 了 here is a particle that indicates a change of situation or state. 跟你说，我有了。有什么？我怀孕了啦。So from the dialogue, you can tell that 有了 can be used to refer to get pregnant, but it depends on the context. Sometimes when people suddenly get an idea, they might also say 有了 like 有了，我想到了一个办法。有了，我想到了一个办法。有了，我想到了一个办法。The next one is 想不开，想不开. This expression means to take things too hard and be depressed, but it can also mean to commit suicide. The formal Chinese word for to commit suicide is 自杀, but this is a heavy word, so in daily life, people often use 想不开 to replace it. 想不开 can be used in sentences like 别想不开啊，别想不开啊，别想不开啊。Don't take things too hard, implying don't take your own life. Another example, 如果你身边有人想不开，你会怎么办？如果你身边有人想不开，你会怎么办？如果你身边有人想不开，你会怎么办？If there is someone around you who wants to take their own life, what would you do?
你干嘛？
Okay, number 4 is about death-related euphemisms. In every language, I think when it comes to talking about death, people tend to use some euphemistic words to talk about it, so we won't feel too overwhelmed. In Chinese, the direct word of to die is 死, 死, but to be polite and euphemistic, people might say 过世, 过世, or 去世, 去世. Also, there are some other daily expressions we use to talk about death. For example, when we want to express someone 死了, someone 死了, we would say someone 走了, 走了, or someone 不在了, 不在了, or 离开了, 离开了. 走 is to walk or to go. 不在 is to not be in a place or to not exist. And 离开 is to leave. They all can be used to replace saying 死 this word. It's the same as in English when people use to be gone or to no longer be here instead of saying to die. Okay, now let's see some example sentences. 我爷爷走之前跟我说了一些话。我爷爷走之前跟我说了一些话。我爷爷走之前跟我说了一些话。Before my grandfather passed away, he said something to me. Another example, 我奶奶已经不在了。我奶奶已经不在了。我奶奶已经不在了。My grandmother is no longer with us. 好，拜拜。诶，谁打给你啊？我妈啦，她刚跟我说我叔叔走了，还把我的电脑借走啊，吓死我了。The final one is 黄色。黄色。黄色 means yellow, and it can be used to talk about things related to eroticism. For example, dirty joke in Chinese is 黄色笑话。黄色笑话。And if you want to describe something or someone as sexual and inappropriate, you can use 黄 to describe. For instance, 这小说太黄了，不适合小孩子看。这小说太黄了，不适合小孩子看。这小说太黄了，不适合小孩子看。This novel is too dirty. It's not suitable for children. 你怎么这么黄啊？有吗？我穿黑色啊。Okay, that's it for today. 希望你喜欢今天的影片。And if you think of some common euphemisms in your own language, or even some that are similar to those in Chinese, feel free to share them in the comment section. By the way, if you want to learn some daily expressions in Mandarin, check out my Instagram, Grace Mandarin. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Alright, 那我们下次见喽，拜拜。